Hi friends, welcome back to Social Studies class. Today we will start continue history chapter, that is the making of the global world. So let me clarify you that in this chapter, the making of the global world, this chapter is not included in the board exam. This chapter will be coming only in your periodic test too. Okay, so don't get confused students. This chapter is only for the periodic test and it is not included in the board exam. There will be no question in board exam from this chapter. Only in periodic test only you will get questions from this chapter. So I hope so you understood. Otherwise in online class you may see the syllabus given. Okay. Further, if you have any doubt regarding this chapter, you can comment in this video. Okay, students? Right. So, the making of the global world, the pre-modern world. Pre-modern world means before the present modern world. How was the situation? How was the world? How was the conditions of the people, surroundings and all? We all know that human is a social animal. We always want feel to live in society and always try to know the new things, develop new things and all. Okay. So you might have studied about Indus Valley civilization and other civilization also like Egyptian civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, Iranian civilization. So many civilizations you might have studied. And we all studied that during Indus Valley civilization also there was a overseas trade. Some evidence was there of the trade. Okay, so traders from different neighboring countries used to come. They may be through sea route or land route. Okay, so there were evidence. Now, so but that was not much expanded one. It was only very limited area. It was only a limited area, few hundreds kilometers to the known place only, not to the much unknown place. Okay, so in the pre-modern world, we saw that people were only linked to the very close area in that. They were not able to, you can say they were not able to conquer or find out the new lands. Okay, now you might have also heard about Silk Route. So today we will study in detail about Silk Route link the world. Whenever the word Silk Route comes, our mind goes to China. Okay, because China was the center of the silk. Now also China is the largest producer of silk in the world, and at that time also China was one of the largest exporter of the silk, which was mostly attracted by the European countries and all. Okay, now so this Silk Route was from various ways. It was through landways and waterways also. In many places they were through landways, and in many places they were through sea route, waterways also. So Silk Route carried the silk from, that is China, that is Asia, to Europe and all, linking various other regions between these two continents. Next, not only though it was known as the Silk Route, so don't think that only silk was always being in trade. Not like that. Apart from that, we saw that Chinese pottery also moved. The Chinese pottery is a very good example and famous for its design and all, like China clay, you know, like that only Chinese pottery also traveled through this way only. Next, apart from that, the Indian textile, the Indian spices, which has very good demand in the world, especially in the European countries, also traveled through this way only. Next, in return from the European countries, from the Arab countries, that is from the these all Arabian countries and European countries. In return, we got gold, diamond, silver trading. You all know that in those days, mostly it was like a barter system. Okay. not like present currency and all. So exchange of commodities took place. Okay, so Silk Route continued till there was interruption between the various countries, like mostly the Silk Route was affected by the Turkish rulers and all, when they started interventioning the traders and all. Slowly then it was diverted towards the waterways and all, but mostly beginning it was carried through the land route only. Next, we all are very much fond of eating food, most of us, various types of dishes and all. Okay, right. If you, in our country itself, you see, in different states you have different varieties of food. Okay, every state has its own variety of food, certain, okay, specialty. If you go to south, mostly you can see idli, dosa, vada, like that. Or if you go to north, Gujarat and area, Rajasthan, so different varieties. You go to northeastern state also, different varieties you find. Go to West Bengal, different varieties, sweets and all like that. So like so many various other countries also were there, where different foods were very famous. For example, the present pasta which we are eating, okay, and it was mostly carried from Arabian countries to Sicily. Sicily was an island near to present Italy. Now it is a part of Italy. So it became part of Italy. Italy is famous for pasta now, say, but it was carried from Arabian country, like pizza noodles, which we eat very much nowadays, very common in our fast food centers and all. So it was carried from China, we say. So like this, various food across took place, because when the people used to travel, when this traveler used to travel from one place to another place, they used to carry the foods also. So sharing among themselves. So along with the trade, the food, the culture also got exchanged from place to place. This through this Silk Route only, we saw even Christian missionaries also traveled. The Sufi saints, they also traveled through this Silk Route only, because it was a well connected route, well mapped route, and these travelers did not search for another route to get scattered here and there. They were having a particular route. So next, present in our kitchen we see tomatoes, potatoes, onion, soybean, ladies, soybean, sweet potatoes, all these things. These all are not the origin food of our country. When we see, we feel here is chilies, potatoes, sweet potato, tomato, soya, maize. These all are our country's food. Maybe our ancestors and all will be doing. No. These foods were not known to Indians or to the world unless and until America was discovered by Christopher Columbus. Americas. I say Americas. Here America's meaning is that North America, South America, Mexico, that is, you can say, Central America. South America is also known as Latin America, because Latin is a common language which is spoken in most of the South American countries. So when Christopher Columbus, actually he stepped out, came to discover India, but unfortunately by mistake he turned towards the west and went toward the western direction, and he discovered Caribbean islands, West Indies and all. Later he discovered Americas, that is North America, South America, Mexico, those countries. So these potatoes, tomatoes, sweet potatoes, maize, soya, chilies, all were the native foods of these Americas. After the discovery of America, the new land, which was totally isolated. It was known as New Land at the time. It was not known to the world. So after discovery of Americas by Christopher Columbus, all this food came to be known. Next, this food got transferred by the travelers to other continent, Europe and all. You know, in Europe, when the Europeans came to know about potatoes and all, the farmers, the poor people, their you can say standard of living, the eating habits little improved because of potatoes. The poor people in European countries used to depend on potatoes. Till the 17th century or before the beginning of the 18th century, the Europeans were very poor, very backward nation. Okay, they were scattered here and there. Okay, there was no independent nations in the European countries. So poverty was very much on a large scale. So the people from Europe, they started migrating to America and to other places where they were ruling when these new lands were discovered. Like if you see 13 colonies of America was also colonized by Britishers only. The eastern part of America, that is USA, like New York and all the eastern part. We see the 13 colonies means 13 states were under the control of the Britishers only, but they got freedom very soon. Okay, not like us 200-300 years they ruled, but they could not rule there. Okay, next. So people from Europe started migrating, and there was a famine also in around 1840s in Ireland and all. The famine affected people. Okay, they used to depend upon the potatoes, and when the crop or the harvest was affected, they died because of starvation. Even they could not find even the potatoes also to eat. Such a type of famine came and starvation situation happened in Europe. Okay, now, so when the new sea routes were discovered, Africa, Asia, all these areas were discovered. Slowly the European countries, merchants and traders and all, they changed their diverse mind towards these Asian and African countries. In those times, India and China was main center of trade, attraction of trade. Okay, now if you see, when all these countries were, European countries were moving, they are getting diverted towards the Asia and Africa. One small nation in Europe known as Spain, okay, it kept its eye on South America. Okay, now in those days, these European people got control over a dreadful deadly disease called smallpox. Okay, they have got a germ which used to cure the diseased person, but the Americans were unaware of this disease, and they were lacking the immunity. The immune system of Americans were very weak because those people were isolated from the rest of the world for many years, hundreds and thousands of years. So their immune system was very weak against this disease. So these people, they sent infected persons to these American countries, especially Latin America, South America. And when it got infected from person to person, it spread like a forest fire, wildfire, and almost entire continent got affected by this disease. Later, the Spanish rulers, they arrived in Africa with these germs, smallpox germs, and they started feeding on the people. Now, in this way, they conquered most of the African countries, especially Brazil. If you see, it was ruled like how India was ruled by Britishers. Brazil was ruled by Spain for more than 200-300 years. Don Pedro I and Don Pedro II were the rulers from the Spain who ruled Brazil for more than 200 years. So like this, they ruled the African countries. without a war. They conquered the South America, not Africa, South America without a war, without a bloodshed, through a smallpox disease. And when they arrived there with the germs, the people of South America, they welcomed this European people like a savior, like a god to them, and they became slave under them. Okay, next. When this trade started expanding toward the Asia and Europe, China and slowly when China saw that European countries started interfering more on large scale, they cut short the trade from the European countries, and it started keeping itself as isolated, and it kept isolation itself from this all trading system. By this time, various places were discovered where like various mines, like you take Peru and Mexico. These were had very good mines of silver. So these were carried to these Asian and African countries for trading purpose. By the time the slaves from Africa were taken to various European and American countries to work in the plantation fields and all. Okay, next. There was one imagined city known as El Dorado in the Latin American countries. It was only imaginary. No one knows the actual place. So most of the European travelers, explorers, they were in the search of this city. It was known as Gold City. They believed that there was a lot of gold mine in that area, so they were in search of this place. But in reality, no place exists like El Dorado, okay, which was known as fabled Gold City. So, students, the Silk Route was the route which was carried by both land and waterways. Okay, next, food travels. As the people traveled from place to place for trading and all, they carried the culture of their regions. Along with that, the food also got transferred from. Along with the person, even diseases also spread from one region to another region. Like culture, trade, food, diseases also got spread. Next, conquest, disease and trade. Without conquering, without any bloodshed, without any war, without using a weapon, the Spanish or the Europeans conquered the Latin America, South America, and the South Americans became slaves under the European countries. So I hope so you might have understood this one. The next topic will continue in the next class. By the time, take care, see you.